Welcome to New Mexico Restaurants Now, where we get you the inside scoop on the food scene across New Mexico. This episode is brought to you by NMRA's Chef Table sponsors. These businesses provide the most generous level of support to help keep our restaurants protected, informed, and successful. So thank you to Benny Keith Foods, the Food Industry Self-Insurance Fund, Heartland Payment Systems, Shamrock Foods, Cisco New Mexico, and U.S. Foods. We wouldn't be here without you. I'm Carol White, CEO of the New Mexico Restaurant Association, and our guests today are Jason and Deidre Vinson of Yo Mama's Grill in Socorro, New Mexico. Jason and Deidre are the winners of the New Mexico Restaurant Association's Restaurateur of the Year Award, the highest award given by the Restaurant Association. Congratulations and welcome, Jason and Deidre.
Hi, guys. Talk about being humbled when we got the notification of this. Carol, we got to thank the New Mexico Restaurant Association for all of the work that you guys have done throughout this crazy year. I don't know how else to describe it, but besides crazy, I feel like if I really gotten to know you with all of the Facebook links and all of the information that you provided us to help us keep our staff safe, to help us meet the protocols, to help us get through this unprecedented time in the restaurant industry. And because of the New Mexico Restaurant Association, I believe a lot of restaurants were able to make it.
Well, I'm so grateful that you're still here, and I'm so grateful that you won this award. It's well deserved. You all have been in this industry for many years, and I want to hear a little bit about your story.
Do you want to go first or me? I met this guy when he was a dishwasher.
Yeah, we both started at the same restaurant like 2 weeks apart, I think, maybe a month apart.
And tell me about that restaurant.
So that was in Ruidoso, and it was Kettle Baron, and I took a job there, needed a job, and he said, "Are you sure you want the job? It's not, and I said, "Yeah," and it was salad prep. Loved it. He was a dishwasher, and you go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, we just met there, and it was one of those things where you start for the summer. Well, I was 19, right out of high school, and we were just doing that to see what would come up next. And my friend had applied there, and so I got a job there too. And I just started working there, and then the more I was there, the more I started liking it, the more the responsibility they gave me, and we just worked our way up there. And we're in Ruidoso probably 2 or 3 years. This was in '89, and then in '90 he opened a location in Las Cruces, and she was going to school, so we just moved to Las Cruces, and I became kitchen manager there, trained all the front of the house or the back of the house, and that was like the training store. We always had a manager in training there. He would just learn the back of the house, and then they opened in Lubbock and El Paso, and I was involved in that, and it was just something that I really liked, and I really took to it, and the training of people and making going from an open restaurant to a restaurant that runs well is something that takes a lot, but it's also like really rewarding. So that was something that I really liked doing. So I mean, he just kept me on doing that, and then we took a break to raise our kids for a while, to where I was just managing a grocery store in a small town. And then, she got a job here teaching, and I came down here and started working at a K-Bob's, did that for a bit. And then I took a job with a guy that would buy, he was based out of Scottsdale, and he would buy restaurants like out of bankruptcy and stuff like that, mostly he had like 12 different brands, 56 restaurants from like Oregon to Florida. And I would just go in and, whenever he bought them, like switch them over, how to do payroll, how to do administrative part, and then just evaluate the employees and stuff like that. And he had cars stationed like all over he would say fly into Tulsa, pick up the car, and then go to Beeville, Texas. I'm like, okay. And I would be like in Lake Havasu or something, it would be that was just my crazy life for 4 or 5 years. And then I came back to this K-Bob's, and then I decided that if we're going to open our restaurant, we decided that it had to be sooner rather than later. And here we are. We did it in 2015, I think we opened.
Well, what a great story, and you kind of followed my life a little bit. So I was in Las Cruces in the 90s with restaurants, and I remember when Cattle Barons came in. Oh my God, what that really was and still is a great restaurant chain in New Mexico, southern New Mexico mostly. You know, they've done a great job, and so that's great experience for you. And of course, when you're going to open your own restaurant, I always tell people go get experience at other restaurants, know what you're doing, right?
Yeah.
The good, the bad, and the ugly.
That's right.
Probably the best place to, you know, as far as not knowing anything about the restaurant, I think Gallagher is like the perfect restaurant to start at if you don't know anything, because he had everything in place, you know, and that's exactly how you did it. And he didn't care. That was how you did it. That's how we learned how to do it. And that's how we did it all the time. I mean, his success is there. So you can't really argue with him, you know, so.
Yeah, he had the systems down, that's for sure.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about your restaurant. You've been there since 2015, and you're in Socorro, New Mexico. So for anybody that's not from New Mexico, Socorro is smack dab in the middle of New Mexico.
Smack dab in the middle, I-25, you take the exit and you're gonna run into us. When we opened, we have tried many times, and of course, who wants to finance a restaurant? So we took a leap of faith, and we found a little place down by John Brooks grocery store, tiny little place. And we had two concepts, one a little bit upscale and then Yo Mama's. And the reason it's named Yo Mama's is it's a joke on him. When I was raising the babies, I was trying to get out of school, the phone would ring and he'd say, Joe's on the phone. I'd say, Joe who? And he'd say, Joe Mama. Oh, ha, ha. So I thought, why don't we name our restaurant that? This is 20 some years ago. And so as it went on, the concept developed, and this was the perfect place for Yo Mama's. And the way I look at it is when you go to Yo Mama's house, you're going to want to be fed, you're going to want to be comfortable. So come on in and we'll treat you right. So that's where that came from. So we started there and quickly outgrew that. And we were able to acquire the old Denny's on the main strip. And so there wasn't an inch that hasn't been touched, and that's where we're at now.
So my first restaurant, just to give you some context, was in an old Sambo's. So, and that was back in the 80s, right? So we took over from them. Yeah.
And
I think Denny's had taken over a Hobo. This was a
Hobo Joe's.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Yes. Wow. Mm-hmm. You know, bring it all back, right?
Yeah.
Well, I'm so excited.
First shift, they wanted breakfast. They're like, we're not open for breakfast.
So are you still not open for breakfast? You're just lunch and dinner?
Just lunch and dinner.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah, I know. Nobody wants to get up that early, right? Yeah, that's how I always was. So talk about the food.
We do burgers, salads, sandwiches. You know, when we first opened, I'm like, we got to get the lunch crowd. If we do the lunch crowd, then we should be fine. You know, we wanted to make sure that we were capitalizing on what we could in the town. So if we could get them in and get them out, I figured we had a shot. So we just did, you know, I do sandwiches on croissants and Reubens and patty melts and French dips and Phillies, things of that nature. And then the salads are like chicken terry salad, black chicken salads, crispy chicken salads, things of that nature. And then
they're
burgers.
Gorgeous.
Yeah.
They're gorgeous.
And then burgers, you know, we do a lot of different burgers. We used, you know, local green chili. We make our own queso, make our own salsa, you know, make their own burgers, things like that, to where it was just, you know, if you could come in, if you had 30 to 45 minutes for lunch, you know, we try to get you out in 10 to 15 once you came in, you know, so that was our whole concept. You know, and then that really took off for us. So that's where we made our bread and butter. We do have steaks and ribeyes.
Right. I want to brag on him. He cuts all the steaks in-house. Yeah, we use 1855 Angus beef on our hamburgers and our steaks. And we named all of our hamburgers after the area. So our green chili cheeseburger is called the Bosque burger. And that's because our green chili is grown in the Bosque. And primarily it's lemon tart chili that we use, and our main vendor is Rosales chili that's just right down the road. And then we have the Harvester for the alfalfa fields and the Tech burger for New Mexico Tech. So that's kind of a play on all of that. But all of our ranchers are from the United States, which is fantastic. Our beef is so good. Our desserts, our mud pie, gotta have it.
Yeah, we do the mud pie, the
appetizers,
Oreo pie, and then the fried ice cream, and then like we do the cheese wedges, and we do everything. You know, we try to make it to where everything we're making ourselves or cross-using everything to where you don't have something that just sits because you use it on one item. It just makes it that much
Fresher.
yeah, cost efficient and stuff like that.
So it sounds like Socorro has really, like, they love you. They've taken you on and they've made you their own, right?
Yeah, I think getting this award is a shout out to the community.
Yes. Well,
because through the pandemic, they supported us. And you know, that horrible word of pivoting to where you're pirouetting. We know about that. We were dancing like crazy. It's like, you know, hey, here we go. We built a patio. They embraced that. We now have a beautiful online ordering system, and man, did the community support us. And so this award is more about Socorro and our staff. Our team stuck with us. We were able to keep the majority of our staff. A few have moved on through the pandemic, and that got scary, but we were able to keep everybody paid and everybody going. And then, of course, New Mexico Restaurant Association helping out the whole way. The community of Socorro is so strong. And so this needs to be celebrated by the community.
well, and I did notice on your website, I mean, you have a great website with, you know, your catering orders and your large orders and all of that. You really got it together, and it wasn't easy to do during that time, but we all, you know, we all pitched in. And again, you know, if you've got it, if you're there for your community and they're there for you, it means, you know, we lost a lot of restaurants last year, and you know, some are still going, unfortunately, but you know, I'm glad they were there to support you.
But we're here in Socorro. We're here to stay in Socorro.
Well, and we love the Bosque, and it's such a gorgeous area. So if somebody hasn't been there, there's the Bosque del Apache, which is very close, and it's the birds come in, the cranes. There's thousands of cranes, thousands of snow geese. It's just absolutely wonderful to go and watch all of these birds, right? And that's right in your backyard.
Yeah, and that takes a lot, and that brings a lot to the town as well.
We have Emertech, we have the BLA, we have New Mexico Tech and the Geology Museum, and there's so much to do in the area, and it'll be great if, you know, with Socorro to try. It's in the center of everything, so it could be a day trip from anywhere in New Mexico, and then you guys can come out and visit.
Well, and we can tell that you're in your restaurant, right? We can tell
Right.
from the background noise that you're in your restaurant, and I love that, because really, you know, and you all both told me that you didn't want to do this in your restaurant office, and I totally get that. I mean, my restaurant office was just a mess all the time. You're sharing it with so many people. You know, and the one
You're not
thing.
built for comfort. You're just there for it's just really
Little
small.
tiny space, yeah.
Yep. Remember, I mean, and that was always, you know, I was told that that's how they designed restaurants, is with these teeny offices that made it more comfortable for you to go out and visit with your customers rather than be in your office, right?
Right.
So, yeah, that's a real
They did a
thing.
good job there.
Yeah, when I finally took the job at the association, I was always amazed when I'd walk in and I'd have pens on my desk. Like, they would be there from day to day, because in a restaurant office, you never have pens, right?
Never have pens. Pens and
Somebody-
magic markers.
Yeah. So I'm so excited about the Restaurateur of the Year. You know, it was many, many years ago, as I told you, that I got this award, and it was a double award with my husband, because we were in the restaurant business at the time, and that's what we've bestowed on you all. You know, as a nod to the fact that, you know, you guys are there together making this business work. And talk a little bit about the award, and, you know, how it makes you feel about accepting it. Because I'm sorry, because we don't have, you know, a room full of 500 people to clap for you and put you across the stage. We will do that. It's going to happen next year, come hell or high water. And But talk about the award and what it means to you.
Let's not go first. Well, Carol, you're going to make me do ugly cry face again.
No, I'm not.
When we received the notification, it was just a release of emotion, because as you well know, Carol, what it takes to be in the restaurant business, the resiliency, the tough skin, the bounce back, the pivoting, and to receive this award is so humbling. That's the only word that I can think of, because we all in the whole industry, we work day in, day out, crazy hours, and humbling is the only. I'm usually not at a loss for words, if you know me, and this actually has put me at a loss for words, and just so honored and thankful. And this needs to be shared with our team and our community. That's it's a recognition of everybody here in Socorro. I'm gonna let you go because I'm gonna get ugly cry face.
Yeah, I just echo her same thoughts. When you get into this, you're not doing it for any kind of accolades or anything like that. You're just hoping you're getting in, thinking, I could do what the people you work for did. You hope, and then when it works out, you're thinking, wow, I did something right. And then you just keep going and you keep going. And then, you want other restaurants, but you always want to be the one that everybody looks up to, like you want to always say like, well, this is how we do it. And this is how we, and everybody has their own way of doing stuff. And this is how we do things. And you just keep on going with the same plan and the same thing in mind. And once you keep on going, and your day-to-day goal is just to take care of the people that walk in the door, because that's who takes care of you. You're here for the people that walk in the door. You're taking care of your employees. And that's when the pandemic hit. The last thing you thought was like, we should lay them off until this blows over, because you're like, well, that's the last thing they needed to do was try to figure that out too. Like everyone else was laying people off or just closing, and we figured that we should try to at least try to get through this together, like try to figure it out together. If they had questions, we wanted to see if we had any answers or try to direct them in the right way, and just make sure everybody was filling out the paperwork right to where they were getting some kind of help, and trying to figure out how we could get some people some hours with just doing online or just doing outside, to where when you look up, it's 6 months gone by, then a year's gone by, and then the next thing you know, you have an award. So, we just keep on going, and hopefully, that's just
tremendous honor.
Yeah, it was just something that we just did every day, and then things like this.
And this guy cooks every ticket. He's here. Yeah, he's first one here, last one gone. And before the pandemic, we were open the 6 days, and he would work on that 7th day till about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So he cooks every ticket that comes in. So yeah, it's just humbling, and thank you and gratitude, and the Socorro community deserves this.
Well, you all deserve it. And I can't believe you cook every ticket. Are you guys still open 6 days a week?
Right now, we are open 5 with this shortage of staff. We are now closed Saturdays and Sundays, being that we have first responders that come in and train. We're focusing on the business days. It's been so weird to close on Saturdays and Sundays, but that's what we're doing right now, and we hope to move back to a regular schedule, hopefully after the new year.
Okay, is it getting any easier? I mean, hiring folks, I'm not hearing a lot of ease out there. Dang,
there's just not a whole lot of people, and so we're just going to keep going, and we will pivot again if we need to, and we're just thankful that we were able to come out on the other side. And like, I know I've said it, but Carol, thank you, because the information that you provided to all of us, and just sitting in on all of the Facebook meetings and anything that came through on the email, communicating with other restaurateurs here in Socorro, we were able to pull through.
Well, I'm so glad you did, and I hope you were able to get some of the relief money too. As a matter of fact, there's a little bit of relief money left in New Mexico, and we're doing a webinar on that on Wednesday, the 10th of November. And please don't miss it, because I heard from a restaurant the other day that he had applied for it and he's now finally getting money, and he's getting about $100,000 every quarter. Now, he has a lot of restaurants, so I don't know that you can expect that much, but certainly he says is very helpful. So, and he's doing it on his own, so I know you guys can do it too. Now let's talk about your website and how do you guys don't take reservations, it's just people walk in, is that correct?
Right, we do take some reservations. If they call in and they want the patio or they have a large party, we'll be able to accommodate them, and it really helps out when they do that. But we're just primarily walk-in. We do some caterings, and that's just with our website. We have that catering portion, and that's really picked up. The website, we had it a little more full of bells and whistles, but with my daughter, she helps us on that end. And I said, pare it down, make it simple, one stop, bam, you're there. If they want the other extra information, they can hit menu and go down to the other categories. But when you log on to yourmamasgrill.com, you'll come up to the online ordering system. And then with our Facebook, again, my daughter does help me out. She's awesome at that stuff. And so she puts together things with that.
Well, that's, yeah, it is very nice and pared down, but you know what to do when you get on your website. There's no question, right? Here's right. Where you go to order. Here's what you do. That's always nice. So tell me, is there anything else you want to share with folks before we go? Anything about your restaurant, about you all? I'm so thrilled that you got this award. Congratulations.
Thank you. You want to say anything? Okay, I'm getting my words back, Carol.
Well, you're a teacher, right? You also teach?
Yes, I teach, and I've been the swim coach here in Socorro for many, many years, and the summer program. I've been here a while. Yeah. So I do teach. Yeah. It's very humbling for this award, and all the years that we've been in it together, from cattle baron to now, and now we're married, have 2 children. Both are doing so well, but this is just a big shout out to Socorro and our team. Our team is amazing, and we've stuck together, and we plan on continuing. And of course, thank you to everybody at New Mexico Restaurant Association.
Well, good luck to you all, and let's keep it going. I want to thank you, and I want to thank our generous sponsors: U.S. Foods, Cisco, New Mexico, Shamrock Foods, Heartland Payment Systems, the Food Industry Self-Insurance Fund, Benny Keith Foods, for their annual sponsorship of NMRA and its programs. Visit nmrestaurants.org to learn more about our chef table sponsors and the association. Thanks for tuning in to New Mexico Restaurants Now. You can watch this and other episodes on the New Mexico Restaurants Now YouTube channel, and you can also subscribe on the audio podcasts at Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Amazon Music. Thanks so much for being here.
Thank you.